Hey, everybody, Pastor Vern with your daily update for January 8th, 2021. We continue along talking about the disciples in the next few days, along with encouragement to that we need to get the churches up and running at a better level or higher level. Try to move back towards our pre-COVID things that are going on, and I just want you to encourage those around you to do whatever you're comfortable with in order to make that happen. I know we're not all comfortable being in public and so on. At this point, we got to remember that masks are mandatory at all churches, and so you have that layer of protection. We're going to meet here because we have dropped in our risk level and see where we want to go with that. We may have a trade-off of some sorts. We may have a trade-off where we can continue to wear our mask, but yet we can start singing some, at least singing along with some things, or we can maybe not make the mask required and not, but not then be able to sing where we're going to be spreading a lot of stuff around the sanctuary. So we're the leadership of the churches are going to look at that and see what maybe we want to do. Also, I'm kind of excited. We got some baptisms that we have rescheduled, and I'm excited about that too. Well, today we're going to talk about James, sometimes called James the Greater, to offset him from the other James that was part of the disciples. And he's also has a brother, John, who is very important in the scriptures, and we'll talk about John on another day. John is one of the disciples that probably is one of the most famous of the disciples, and partly because of his writings that made it into the scriptures, but for other things. And for James being in the inner circle with John, his brother, and Peter, with Jesus, we just don't know all that much about him. He's just, it's a little bit, we don't have a lot of those details. He was a little bit overshadowed by his brother John. And so we don't know a tremendous amount about him, except he was a man of tremendous strength and faith. He was one of the first called. He came from a family where he was in a family, his father's name was Zebedee, and they were fishermen, and we hear the story of them being called along the seashore. We also know that they were well enough off that they had hired help in their fishing enterprises, and that they did have they had comfort financially. So it was kind of one of those things where he gave up quite a little bit to follow Jesus, in the way of also part of that being giving up part of his lifestyle, maybe, I guess you would say. He and his brother were also called the Sons of Thunder, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them is that they were, I guess from what we understand, they were fairly opinionated gentlemen, and especially brothers. Sometimes that gets to be quite spirited discussions. And also, they were at the center of three very miraculous things that happened, and had seen the turmoil and the changes that were going about as Jesus went through his time of preaching, his time of the passion, and his time of resurrection and ascension. So they had a front row seat to all this. They seen these supernatural events that were part of Christ's life, and one of the things that we note is that we believe that James was the first of the 12 apostles to be martyred for his faith in about AD 44. So maybe about a rough, 10 to 11 years after Christ's ascension, roughly, depending on how you gauge those years. There's some theological debate about that. So within a decade or 15 years of the time that he walked the earth with Christ, he was martyred for his faith. We're going to talk about John a little later, which, being his brother, met a very different kind of future. But anyway, I guess that gives him a little bit of notoriety between the fact that he was in the inner circle and one of the first to be martyred for his faith. I guess that's kind of the things I wanted to touch on about James the Greater, or James, the son of brother of John, son of Zebedee, and being part of that inner circle. All right. Well, you all guys take good care of yourself. Watch out for others the best you can and stay safe. We'll see you later. Bye.